All right, so without wasting too much of time, we're moving to the next class. So one thing I would want to do is you can only click so once you click on register, right? That means you fill up this detail, you click on register, right? So it navigates you to the sign in page. Then you can sign in, and that's now going to lead you to the dashboard, right? Or the main screen. Now, remember that our focus is not really in the navigation right into the main screen. Our main focus is you knowing how to implement these features, right? So now let us create a screen which we're going to call dashboard. Wow, what happened? So everything just closed. All right, so backup, right? So now we have this. So we want to create our dashboard, right? So just here. So I'm going to press F2 and I'm going to say dashboard, right? Dot HTML. Now in this our dashboard, of course, it's just what we just want to say welcome the username, right? So that's all we want to put here. So I can copy here, come here. In fact, I just need only this here, so I don't need it. This is where all my code should be at, right? I think at the moment I can close here. So let's paste here. So there are so many things I don't need here. So from here down to maybe somewhere here, can go off. Then let's just leave this guy. So this should be dashboard screen, right? So let's just change this to be dashboard screen, right? Okay, so here should I can remove this input, right? So that here would say welcome, right? So let's just have here to read welcome, right? So welcome, and it's going to read a name, right? So let me just do name for now, right? So welcome that username. So in here I can duplicate here so that this becomes, let's say, dashboard. All right, so that becomes dashboard. So let's do that. Okay, so this function is going to be the dashboard function, right? Then of course I'd want to change this to be dashboard, right? So let's fix this. So that becomes dashboard, right? All right, now that this has been done, I can save and I'll sure have access to dashboard, right? So if I come here and I do like, let's say, oops, all right. So if I save and I do something like this, the dashboard, right? So I can have access to dashboard. Now I just saw this, so let's change that, right? So I'm going to copy this, come up here, and so in my title here, so I'm going to change this to be dashboard, and I think I should do that for the signing as well. So this should be signing. So save that and everything should be fine. So this is welcome and we can see the name. Okay, so now let's go back and let's start implementing some coding. Yeah, some coding. Okay, so typically, right, we might want to do something like this. So let's say user is equals to this, right? So remember, we'd have username, and that will be mapped to empty, and we can have email, and we can have password, right? So majorly, this is how it's going to be in the database, right? So this user would have all of these credentials, right? Now it is this credential, right, we are going to pass into this dashboard. So at the moment, so I can do something like this and say user will be mapped to user. So let me save that, right? And for now, this username, let's just have it to be, let's say, Peter, and let's do the email is Peter at let's say futurelab.com, right? And the password, I can just use same for the password, right? So we have this. Now we'll pass down these elements inside there, or this dictionary um, inside here as well. So let me go back to the dashboard, right? So rather than we having this name as name, would want it to display that username. So if I come to the dashboard, which is this for the base, we don't need it anymore. So if I come to the dashboard, because I have access to that, right? So I can do this, right? And in here, I can call that user, right? Square brackets. Sorry, this is JavaScript environment, right? Dot what? Dot user name, right? So if I save this and run this here, I can see Ginger. So let's look at the Ginger. So I can see Ginger. Let's fix this Ginger. Okay, so the error definitely is coming from here because Ginger is saying, oh, there's an opening but no closing. So that's because I called it wrongly. So let's remove this and come back here and just put another curly brace. So save that. Once we save this and refresh here, so okay, good. So now we can see the name displaying, right? So that's what we basically want, right? And just because I've gotten that right, so I can just do another, I could just call email, right? There's no need calling out the password, right? So so let me do this. So just say email. This is welcome pizza email this, right? So that's pretty it, right? Now, but then we can just start like this, right? So it won't be nice for us to have this name displaying, right? So what I can do for this now, or what I would want to do for this is, if the name is empty, let nothing shows here, right? Let nothing shows here. So that would be this guy here. So I'm going to cut it out, right? And um I can call in my Ginger now, since I wanted to write Ginger before, right? So I would say if user dot name, right? Sorry, username. If there is no username, of course, that's an error, right? So let it display something. So okay, so before I do that now, very importantly, anytime you open, you should close, right? So I'll just do end if, right? So because I've opened a if block here, it's important you end the if here. So right here, I would say if this, right? If this it's not equals to maybe empty, right? Then let it display name here, right? Else, I know this look weird, right? But just be along, right? So else, right? Let what? Else, let it display no name, right? So this is just a way for us to check and be sure that everything works fine. So if we run this, so we see name, and that's because in here there is something, right? So we have a name here. So now let me remove this name. So save here, and if I should run here again, we're not going to see, we'll see no name, right? If I save that, it's running, and once it does that, we're not going to see anything yet. Wow, why am I still seeing something? So let's see. We should see no name, right? Let's fix that. Let's look at it closely, right? So run this. Oops, I'm saying ginger. Why am I saying ginger? I shouldn't say ginger, right? It's okay. So let's look at why are we saying name. Oh, we wrote user, and nobody can tell me. So let's save this, right? And run here now. So we see no name, right? And that's because here is empty, right? Here is empty. So let me put in something. So let's do this. And if I come back here and refresh here, we're going to see name, right? So once that come up, we'll see that. So let's move on. So this part of name here, right, I would remove it and paste that my code. Then while this part where there is nothing, I'm going to remove it and save this. So now if I save, this is what we would see, right? This is what we'll see. But then if I come up here back and I remove this and save this, then run here, we won't see anything. Yeah, so that's what I would want us to achieve now. So we can now start writing code, right, in order to get our sign up properly, so that whoever comes here, it's an error, they won't see their names, right? So there's no way you can get here except you pass through the right route. Okay. So let me remove what we have here. Let's remove this to save this, right? So that's good. So now we want to create a function that allows us to sign up, right? So now let's create that first. So what I would quickly want to do is just to duplicate here. So let me duplicate it. Okay, so this part now is going to, we're going to call it maybe the sign up route, right? So let's call it register. So that will be register. And what makes this an endpoint is this added feature that we're going to put, which is methods, and we're going to say post. Okay, so this automatically becomes an endpoint, right? So this would be register. All right, of course we wouldn't be needing these anymore, but then before I do that, let's just come here and call two methods. So the first is going to be request and the second is going to be JSONify, right? So these are the two things we need. So let me just remove here and call the JSONify, right? And in here, so we're going to do maybe success. Of course, if you hit this place, then something went wrong, right? So this is going to be false, and the data is going to be error, right? So let's just do that, right? So let's just do error. Okay. So now right here, two things we would want to do first of all is to have access to that user. So let's do this, right? Then in here, I'm going to call data to be equals to request, right, dot get the JSON, right? So we just want to get the JSON. Then I'm going to say username, that's going to be data.get what the user name. Good. So this thing would be repeated, right, for email, to get the email, and as well as would get the password, right? So good. We have these three things. That's all we need. That's what we'll be needing from the front end, right? So I can now say if username, so if username, right, and email and password, so if they exist, right, then I can say let's call this user, right? So let me call that user. Do this. Okay, I didn't close here, so let's close. Oh, let's close in here. So let me just remove this. Okay, so this now is going to be this email, this user name, right? This is going to be this password, the email, and this is going to be the password, right? So good. Now that is what we need to do here. Then once that is good, you see this thing we did here, right? So I'm going to copy and paste here, right? So here is going to return, let's say, true. So I miss the S here, S here. Then why the data now is going to be user. So we save this, right? So I feel everything is good here. Yeah, everything is good here. But note that it's the same, almost the same code. Don't worry, this is just a simple login and signing we're doing here, right? But the moment we start building properly for production, we're going to make it a little bit interesting. All right, so these, remember that we don't need this, right? So I'm going to remove the user, right? So it's not it's not going to change anything, right? So we're just removing all of those, right? So remember, I already have access to this user, and so this is going to be user dot, right? So that we still have everything intact. So save this, and I believe that is all we need to do at the back end level. So let's come to the front end level, because this is where we write some more code, right? I think this video is getting too long, and maybe we can just stop here and resume for the next class. Yeah. All right. So see you guys in the next class as we begin to implement the function for this part, right? See you guys.